Yes. When you finish, stop transmission.
Oh, hang on, sharing your screen in Google Plus.
Hi then.
Whoop.
Well, thank you guys all for coming to my talk today. Also want to thank the conference organizers for putting on an amazing event and for inviting me in to speak to you guys today about embracing open source to grow and transform your career and company. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Michael Myers, and I'm the Vice President of Developer Relations at Acquia, where I work for Dries Bactart, the founder of Drupal and Acquia, out of Acquia's Office of the CTO. I've been a long-time member of the Drupal community, well over a decade in the Drupal community, and I've driven a lot of innovation in that time frame. I started the first venture-backed Drupal startup company, a company called NowPublic.com, which pioneered citizen journalism, crowdsourcing, and user-generated content. I launched the first ever top 100 Drupal website, the top 50 website called Examiner.com. It was also the first Drupal 7 website to launch. We launched it on Drupal 7 6 or 7 months before the official release of the platform, and helped complete Drupal 7. We contributed around 20% of the overall project. So we were the largest contributors to Drupal 7 by a really wide margin. I've also been a really long time member of the Drupal Association and an advisor to the board of the Drupal Association since just after its inception. I'm very passionate about Drupal, very proud to be a member of the Drupal community. What I wanted to talk to you guys about today is a lot of what I've learned in running and growing successful companies based on Drupal and the benefits that getting more engaged with and participating in open source communities has done for my team and my business. Before I begin though, I want to thank a couple of people. Angie and Ezra are both very well-known individuals in the community. Both of them gave me some ideas and input, helped put together some slides for this presentation. So I'd like to acknowledge their help. I couldn't have done this without their support. Also in the interest of open source and community, all of my talks are publicly available. So if there's any information here that you can use, please feel free to do so. You can email me for a copy of the presentation if you'd like, and I will post it up to the conference website as well. So you're welcome to use and share any of this if you'd like a copy. As I'm sure many of you know, Drupal is one of the most successful and widely used open source projects in the world. We have over 1 million individuals that have signed up for Drupal.org, our home on the web. There are over 25,000 individuals like yourself that have contributed modules, functionality to extend Drupal. Over 3,400 people have come together to develop the core of Drupal that we all extend through these contributed modules. This is a really robust and vibrant community. It's one of the most active and prolific open source communities in the world. To put this into context, they started tracking contributions to the Linux kernel around 10 years ago, and in that time frame they've had less than 12,000 individuals contribute to their platform. So Drupal has a really amazing, robust, and vibrant ecosystem of contributors. And this group has come together to release a piece of software that powers millions of websites around the world. We're talking about some of the most well-known names and brands that we have in healthcare organizations like Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson, in financial services, Guardian Financial, Voya Financial, in retail organizations like Puma, Whole Foods, Timex, all rely on Drupal to run their businesses. It's extremely popular with major media companies. Pretty much every major media company, from Fox and Fox News through to Al Jazeera to NBC Universal, run Drupal. NBC Universal has completely standardized on Drupal, has over 100 Drupal websites, including several top 100 websites. The Olympics run on Drupal. NBC Sports, a top 100 website, runs on Drupal. And really well-known magazines like The Economist have relied on Drupal for a really long time. It's extremely popular in education. In the US alone, something like 7 out of 8 universities run Drupal. These are the top leading educational institutions: Harvard, MIT, Stanford, Oxford, the Syed Business School. In public sector in the US, 33% of .gov websites are running Drupal. Many websites throughout the world rely on Drupal. My home state of New York, I'm from New York City. New York State is standardizing on Drupal. We have the entire government of Australia created GovCMS, a distribution of Drupal that they want their country to use, whether you're a local or state or federal government institution. They're creating a distribution and platform of Drupal that anyone can use and share, and they're trying to foster true open source and collaboration across the entire country and all government organizations. So we're not talking about just small sites. Drupal's power and capabilities is that it can enable a company like Pfizer to launch a really small microsite in minutes, but it can also enable them to run their top brands. And so we have one platform that can serve everything from individuals and small businesses to some of the largest, most powerful websites in the world, including my alma mater, Examiner.com, NBCSportsWeather.com is probably the single largest Drupal website. It's a top 10 website. And these organizations serve millions of users and billions of page views. So Drupal is an extremely capable and powerful platform. And in addition to enabling organizations to serve not only small sites, microsites, but also their main properties, it allows them to run hundreds, if not tens of thousands of websites. And you see this commonly in educational organizations. An organization like MIT, Stanford, or Oxford wants to enable students, faculty members, departments to be able to spin up websites quickly and easily. So they need to be able to manage a very large number of websites. Very few companies have a single website. Pretty much every company, even individuals, personals, have multiple websites. So Drupal's strength is really in its versatility, in that it's able to serve such a diverse array of needs and markets and empower individuals to create amazing software. But as powerful as Drupal is as a software platform, it's actually the Drupal community. It is the people that are in this room here today that are making Drupal what it is. And this is a quote from Dries, the founder of Drupal. And he said, it's really the Drupal community and not so much the software that makes the Drupal project what it is. And so fostering the Drupal community is actually more important than just managing the code base. With each new release of Drupal, and we have Drupal 8 coming out in about 2 weeks, we add exciting new features and functionality, and this is what drives growth and adoption. People take the latest version of Drupal because it has all these great features, it's easier to use, and enables them to get up and running quickly. And with each release of the platform, we have doubled the size of the community, the number of people that come together at events like this. We have doubled the size of our contributor base with each release, the people who contribute to core, who help create all of the contributed modules that we use. And we've doubled the size of our install base, the end users that use Drupal. And so our growth has been extremely exciting. And today we have this amazing global population and community. There are over 500 local meetups every month in major cities around the world. In cities like New York, where I live, we have 3 or 4 Drupal meetups every month. We have a Drupal drinks meetup where you can get together and have a couple of beers and hang out in a very relaxed social setting. We have Drupal at the Rock, NBC Universal at Rockefeller Center hosts a beautiful meetup. That's sort of an intersection of business and technology. So in some cities you have more than one meetup. There are over 20 camps like this every month around the world where, in some cases, thousands of people come together. I was just at the Bay Area Drupal Camp 2 weeks ago, Bad Camp out in Berkeley, California. The largest free Drupal event in the world can draw from 1,200 to 1,800 people. So it's this community of people like yourselves that are coming together that really makes Drupal what it is, that makes Drupal so successful. And I'll give you a quick sense of how a community like ours can come together and really drive innovation at an amazing pace. This is Google's blog. They announced their social network that I'm sure you guys all use, Google+, in June of 2011. In a few days from that, there was a Drupal module that was released on Drupal.org providing basic integration. It took us less than 4 days to release a module to integrate this. Ryan Sarsma put it out there long before Drupal even released an API. So there was no formal way to even integrate with it, And we're already up and running with some basic integration capabilities. And in the spirit of the community, I don't know if you can read that, but it says, I'm up for ideas on how to develop this further. Don't be shy about contributing your ideas. Drupal is a community of individuals that fosters ideas and information and contributions from a large community. We want you to get more engaged because we know that the more people we have engaged, the better ideas we're going to have, the faster we're going to be able to execute and move. Dries gave a phenomenally interesting talk. His keynote at DrupalCon Amsterdam last year, 2014, was about open source sustainability issues and the tragedy of the commons. I'm not going to get too much into this, but simply put, Drupal is getting more and more complex, right? It used to be that you could be a master of every subsystem. Today, it's a full-time job to be the master of any one subsystem in Drupal 8, let alone coordinate communication across subsystems. Forget about your full-time job, your family, your personal life. So it takes more effort and energy than ever to contribute to Drupal. And as its complexity increases, we need to not maintain our pace of innovation, we actually have to accelerate our pace of innovation to continue our growth. And so there's no doubt that Drupal, the software platform, needs you. And only by working together as a community can we continue to foster this growth and accelerate that pace of innovation. But what I want to talk to you about today is, while it's clear that Drupal needs you, it's not always clear to individuals, companies, and organizations as to why you should get much more involved in Drupal. And certainly, if you're running a business that's based on Drupal, there's the obvious answer. Your success of your business is in a large part tied to this platform, and it's in your best interest to get involved and engaged. But by working together and each of us making contributions, we have that rising tide that lifts all boats. And what I want to talk about today is why you should get involved in Drupal. What are the business benefits? What are the personal benefits? This isn't just about the warm, fuzzy feelings. This isn't about charity or giving back. And it can be any one or all of those things. And they're not bad things. But there are tremendous benefits for you, for individuals like ourselves, for your teams, for your clients, for the organizations that run Drupal. It makes tremendous business sense for you to get much more engaged and to contribute to the platform. That's what I want to talk about. I want to walk through some examples for each of these, for you, for your company, your clients, and talk about the benefits that you get out of contributing to Drupal and help find ways that we can get more engaged. So for individuals, one of the biggest advantages that you get is insight and awareness. It's knowledge and learning. Every time I come to a Drupal event like this, I meet new people. I get an opportunity to catch up with old friends. I got a chance to meet 2 of the console maintainers earlier, and I learned a lot more about Drupal console. And it's a really exciting project. And invariably, even if I can't use that knowledge immediately tomorrow, there's going to be a client or a partner or a personal need that comes up sometime in the next 6 months or a year where I'm going to tap into something that I learned today. And so by getting involved and showing up, you get free training and education. If you came on yesterday, there was literally free training and education on a lot of different topics where you could really advance your career by learning the next steps. Always in motion is the future, right? We live in a world in technology where you have to be vigilant about learning new things. If you're not learning new things every day in technology, you're falling behind. And so by coming to these events, by getting engaged in the community, you're going to learn, and therefore you're going to grow. You're going to advance your career to the next level. For example, think about the people that are building Drupal 8, right? They've been working on a platform for 2-3+ years that starting a couple of weeks from now is going to gain meaningful adoption. Next year, thousands of organizations are going to be adopting the software platform that these individual contributors help meaningfully create. They literally put themselves in a leadership position at the forefront of a technology movement by coming to events, contributing code, writing documentation. And so it really positions you as a leader in a community and it gives you an opportunity to be at the forefront as opposed to being a follower of the platform. No matter how much you know about Drupal, no matter how long you've been involved in the community, I assure you that at some point in time, you're going to run into a problem. You're going to face a challenge that you don't know how to address. You're going to run into a bug that you're not sure how to fix. From time to time, we all need a little help from our friends. And the reality is, when you get stuck, if you're engaged in the community, you have a huge network of people that you can pull from, that you can rely on to get help. We're all really busy people. A lot of people approach me, send me emails saying, I want an introduction, I need help with this. Unfortunately, we all can't help everybody, right? There's a limited amount of time in the day. I wish I could have it inbox 0. It's never gonna happen. And so what we have to do as individuals is prioritize, is triage. And if you reach out to me and I know that you are a creator of an important component of Drupal, if you're someone that's helped me with a problem in the past, I'm more likely to help you. And so the more active and involved you get in the community, not only are you going to be able to move faster because you know what pieces you can pull together to solve your problems, but when you do get stuck, you now can reach out to a lot of people and you're more likely to get help, you're likely to get better help, and you're likely to get it significantly faster. Now, I do want to give you the caveat that this is not a guarantee that you are going to get help, that every problem is fixable, but you're more likely to be successful because you are engaged in the community. Doers also have a stronger voice. Almost every user of Drupal downloads and extends the platform to do something else, right? So at some point in your usage of Drupal, you're going to want to introduce a new feature, a new functionality, a new idea or concept to the platform. And again, it's human nature, right? We listen to what we know, who we know, what we understand. And if you're a newcomer to the community, if you don't have a reputation, if you haven't spent any time building that reputation, you're going to encounter significantly more friction in getting your ideas heard and affecting change. So again, it's not a guarantee that people are going to listen to you. It's not a guarantee that people are going to like what you have to say every time you bring something up. But more often than not, you're going to have less friction and be more successful in executing and implementing your ideas if you have relationships with other people in the community and establish track record of working with them. So it increases your odds of being successful. And the last point I want to touch on for individuals is that it's a hell of a lot of fun, right? If you're not having fun in building and creating Drupal, you're doing it wrong. And I think that anyone who has come to a Drupal social event, and hopefully you guys are going to come out to the party after this tonight, can attest to the fun that we work hard, we play hard, and we have a lot of fun. Drupal is an amazing global community of people that I'm really proud to be a part of. I've met many people over the years working in Drupal. I've met many great friends in the process, many close friends. Dare I say it, you know, I see the world in a clearer light. You know, any country I go to, every city I go to, I know somebody invariably that I can say hello to. I can see the world through their perspective, the eyes of a local, and it's connected me more with my planet, with our world. And beyond that, I feel like I have become part of something that is so much bigger than myself, and I'm really proud about that. I mean, when you are building a single website in a vacuum, maybe you're a part of something, but when you are part of an ecosystem, part of a community, to think that the contributions I've made to this platform are helping local governments, are helping national governments, are helping non-for-profit organizations achieve their goals and vision, raise money on their platform. And all I did was contribute a few lines of code and some documentation. And so, you know, it really is an amazing place to be able to have that impact. I think it's a rare opportunity. Most people only get the opportunity to do something for a organization or a cause, but by contributing to a platform like Drupal that is leveraged by all these amazing organizations that I talked about, you have the opportunity to be part of this global community. So I've covered some of the benefits to individuals, and there are more, but in the interest of time, I want to move on to another important constituency, which is companies. All of us here probably are either independent contractors, work for a company that uses Drupal, work for an agency that provides Drupal services. So what are the benefits to companies? Why should companies support their employees in getting more engaged, and hopefully, you want your staff to learn and grow and execute faster and be trained and educated, which will help you attract and retain talent. But there's much more to it than that. And I'd like to walk you through a little story I call A Tale of Two Enterprises to give you some scenarios and ideas about how open source participation and engagement through Drupal can help organizations be significantly more successful. I'm going to tie that to some specific real-world examples. So our two characters in this story, the first is DIY Corp. This is the do-it-yourself company. And their company motto is, we've been reinventing the wheel since pretty much forever. They're a big believer in proprietary software. They love open source because it's free. They downloaded Drupal, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with free software and taking advantage of that. And so, they download Drupal for free. They've got their corporate headquarters next to a silo, near some waterfalls, and they build proprietary software on top of Drupal. They don't give anything back to the community. They don't participate in the community. They exist on their own. The other character in this story is Collab Inc. They're the collaboration company, and their company motto is, there's a module for that. And their company headquarters is near lots of trees in the forest, somewhere idyllic and beautiful. And they are big believers in open source and community. They're heavily engaged, and they participate. So let's look at a common scenario, right? Every organization downloads and uses Drupal. At some point, they're going to want to extend Drupal to make it do something it doesn't yet do today. That could be as simple as a bug fix. That could be as big as a new contributed module. Let's look at how these two companies would approach this scenario differently. Do-it-yourself company, well, they do everything themselves. So logically, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to hire a bunch of developers. They're going to assign a bunch of developers that work for them to a project. They're going to sit down and they're going to start writing code. Seems logical. Hopefully they have a code repository. They're a little old school, but we'll give them the benefit of the doubt that they have a code repository, Subversion or Git. Hopefully they're not using CVS. But here's where the problem comes in, right? When they do run into a challenge or problem, like we talked about, they're not part of a community. They have no one to turn to. Their only option is to get out a debugger, a stiff drink, to sit down and try and solve that problem with the resources that they have at hand. They are literally on an island. They own that software code. No one has ever seen it before. They don't have the benefits of a community that is giving them bug fixes, security features, enhancements. So they have to address this problem on their own. Collab Inc., the first thing that they do when they have to solve a problem is they check to see if someone else has already built it. Why would you reinvent the wheel? Maybe there's a module out there that does 80% of what you need that you can adopt and leverage to do 20%. Now you're building less, you're operating quicker. Maybe there isn't a module, maybe there's a patch, right? Maybe there's a little fix that gets you on your way. And if there isn't something out there already available, the first thing that they do, not when they're done building software, the first thing that they do is start a new project, a new sandbox project, or a new module on Drupal.org. And they say to the community, hey, we're going to start a new initiative to solve a problem. And we'd love your input, your ideas, your help, because they don't want to be the only people who own this, right? They want to share that burden of having to develop it, of owning the long-term maintenance and support costs, right? Because building software isn't just about doing something and being done. It's a life cycle. It's something that goes on and on forever. You're never done with your website. You might upgrade it to a different piece of software, but you're always adding things to it. Always in motion is the future. And you want to be part of a community that can help you address that. Because when you do get stuck, you can look to see if there is a solution already out there, maybe in the forums, maybe in the patch queue. You can tap into a huge network of people that you've met at an event like today or online through IRC or one of the many forums. And you can reach out to them and say, hey, have you encountered this problem? I remember talking to you at DrupalCamp Mexico, and you're telling me that you're using Console. And maybe you can help me figure out what's going on here. So again, you're going to solve your problems faster. So I'll give you a real-world example of how this actually happens. 5-star module is a module that does exactly what it says it does. It allows you to rate a piece of content from 0 to 5 stars. It was developed by Lullabot, a Drupal consulting company in the US. for Sony BMG. Sony BMG, a major music label in the United States that has a lot of different artists. Each of their artists has a Drupal website. So again, another great example of a company that manages a large number of websites. They wanted to enable their users to rate things like song tracks, good, bad, whatever. And so Sony built this module with Lullabot, they open sourced it, and they made it available to the entire Drupal community. Well, along comes Warner Music Group. Warner Music Group is a direct competitor to BMG. And your first thought may be, oh my God, they're helping a competitor be successful. Why would they do that? Well, give me a minute here. All right, Warner Music also has a multi-site Drupal platform. They run all of their artists on this platform, and they too wanted to be able to rate their content from 0 to 5. Well, fast forward 6 months, and Warner Music Group upgraded from Drupal 5 to Drupal 6, and they ported this module from 5 to 6. They fixed some bugs, they added some features, and when Sony said 5 months after that, we want to move to Drupal 6 as well, they got it for free, right? So they were able to just download the new version, install it, and be up and running tomorrow. And so it creates this virtuous cycle. In business, we call this a strategic alliance, right? This isn't a formal strategic alliance. Sony BMG and Warner Music Group didn't get together and agree that they were gonna, work together on this piece of software. They're collaborating openly as part of a community because they're smart enough to recognize that a 5-star rating module or any of their web technology is not core to their strategic value as a company. They are not a company that is about building technology. They're a company that's about creating awesome music and artists and promoting those artists so that we can enjoy and be entertained by it. And so, this is a really important factor. There are very few companies where their strategic differentiating factor is technology. And so there are tremendous benefits by working together, even with your direct competitors in many cases, to solve problems in a community manner. Another common problem that every organization I talk to has with Drupal, we just lost our mic here. Redundancy, I love it, we got 2 here. Every organization I talk to, the #1 problem and challenge they tell me they have is I can't find and hire enough awesome Drupal talent. So let's look at a scenario here. DIY Corp, they post their job to a job board, generic job boards. I don't even know what job boards are out there these days that people are using. But the problem is, no one knows that they use Drupal because they don't participate in the community. So no one's aware. They may even be doing really cool and interesting things with the platform. But because they're unknown to the larger community, no one that's part of that community, none of the talented developers that they want to attract are really aware of what they're doing, and they aren't incentivized or really interested in coming to work for that company. So they're going to get a really low response rate of qualified candidates. Another problem is because they're not part of the community, they're missing out on all of the openness and transparency that you get as being part of the community. They have extremely limited insight into their applicants. And I've been in this position. I've worked for agencies 10, 15, 20 years ago. I'd go out and I'd hire people to work on a project. And they'd say, oh, I was a senior whatever on this project. And then I check their references and they say, that person was an intern or was a junior person that played a really small role in this project, right? You have no way of knowing what people have actually contributed beyond what you can maybe figure out by putting them through some sort of evaluation process, by trying to get a deeper sense of what they're doing. And so not only do they get a really extreme set of applicants, but they have a very limited amount of insight into these individuals. And they're not really attracting top talent because they're providing a disincentive, right? They're not fostering training and education. They're not helping you learn and grow and build your career. They're locking up code. And talented developers, particularly in open source communities, want to work for companies that are going to foster their training and education, that are going to want to enable them to contribute back to Drupal. And so at every turn, they're making it extremely difficult for themselves to attract, retain, and find top talent. Collab Inc., on the other hand, is regularly attending and sponsoring local meetups. They are constantly meeting potential candidates everywhere they go. They may not always have opening hiring needs, but they're creating a backlog of individuals that might be interesting to them for their shared overlapping interests and needs. because they are contributing to Drupal, people know not only that are you an interesting brand or project, but that you're doing really cool things with technology. You're a company that I actually want to go work for because you're doing cool stuff, and I'd like to be part of that, right? And I'll talk a little bit about this in a minute, but they have detailed insight into the applicants and their capabilities, because open source is all about transparency. I can see the code that you wrote. I can see the contributions you made. I can see how you interact in a community. So I know exactly who I'm getting. And I can see who your mentors are. I know who to hire. And their active participation is an incentive. Individuals want to come work for these organizations. I'll give you a great example. When I made the decision to move Examiner.com to Drupal, we were really early in the release cycle of Drupal 7. We're about 1.5 years before the release of Drupal 7. We wanted to be on the latest platform. We knew we were going to need a lot of the top talent in the community. And so I went out to individuals like the media module maintainer, and I said, look, from what I can tell, it looks like you're doing this in your spare time. You know, after work, you're contributing to Drupal. How would you like to come work for me full time? And I guarantee you that we'll open source 80% or more of the code that you contribute. I will pay you to make Drupal better because it's going to help me have a better company. And in less than 6 months, I was able to hire something like 20 of the top 100 Drupal developers and create an amazing global workforce of the most talented people in the community. There was nothing that this team could come together and do. So when organizations come to me and they say, you know, Mike, I can't find Drupal talent, it's not that there isn't Drupal talent out there. It's that you're often not positioning yourself to be attractive to these individuals. When I hire people, one of the first things that I do is I look at their Drupal.org profile. So I was talking about transparency. This is exactly where you get it. I can't tell you the number of people I've interviewed in my career who say, I am a senior Drupal developer. And I ask them, great, what's your D.O nick or your user ID? And they say, I don't have one. I don't understand how you could put, you know, even Drupal developer next to your name, let alone senior Drupal developer, if you don't have an account on Drupal.org. So first red flag, right? The next thing I love about Drupal.org is I can see a lot about you, right? Looking at Angie here, I can see that Angie's been a member of the community for over 8 years. Even if I didn't know that she was one of the most famous people in the Drupal community, I would have a good idea that she's a pretty, you know, long-standing member of this community. And I can learn a lot about her. I can see that Angie contributes to documentation. So she gets methodology and process, right? What kind of, you know, that makes her a much more attractive candidate to me because I love the fact that she's not only great at writing code, but she's a prolific contributor to documentation, which is important to the growth and success of my company. As I mentioned earlier, I can strategically recruit people because I can see exactly what projects they're contributing to, and I can map that to my interests and needs. You want to build out commerce systems, you want to build out media systems, you can go directly to the people that are contributing to these systems, and you can target them strategically and say, hey, I'd love it if we could do a collaboration and work together. I can see how she interacts in the community, how she represents herself. Is she asking a lot of questions? Is she answering any questions? Is she acting professionally, right? How does she behave online? It's something that's really important to me because I might have her interfacing with clients or other senior people in my business. And I want to make sure that she's someone that I want representing my brand, my company, and my interests. So beyond that, I can also see her code, right? I don't have to rely on what she tells me she can do. I can dig into the code. I can see exactly what she's capable of committing, and I can decide whether or not she's a great candidate and skill level for my needs. So hopefully you've gotten a sense that Drupal is a global community of people as well as organizations, that it's a common set of methodologies and best practices, and that it's a way of working together in the community as part of the community with these methodologies. And you need to do all three of those things to be successful. And through engagement with individuals and organizations, that is where the true benefit of open source comes. That is where you get the better, faster, cheaper. So how many people here, I'm curious, work for a Drupal agency or development shop, or is an independent consultant? Who here is providing Drupal services? The majority of the room. Okay. very common for camps. I want to talk about some advantages that apply specifically to organizations like yours. Everything we talked about definitely applies directly to you, but there's even more advantages. And that's, it differentiates you from the competition, right? I'm a client, I'm looking for a potential partner or agency to help me with my Drupal website. Who do I want to hire? Do I want to hire an organization that builds sites on top of Drupal? Or do I want to go to an organization that is meaningfully contributing to the platform? Literally, they are the experts that are building the platform. If I could afford to hire both, you better believe every time I'm going to pick the organization that is behind the platform and meaningfully contributing to it, as opposed to the organization that is simply implementing on top of it, because I'm going to have significantly greater belief in your skill sets and competency. We see this in the real world. There are many organizations that fund full-time Drupal contributors. Chapter 3 funds Alex Pop to contribute. FFW has individuals. Phase 2 has individuals. Acquia has individuals. Organizations come to us and ask us for our Drupal services because of the people that work for our company and the reputation that they've created in that community. We are getting asked to participate in RFPs more often than other companies because we're seen as the experts in the platform. So if you talk to Phase 2, they get business leads because they have open source distributions like OpenAtrium. And Tag 1 gets business leads because they're the leaders behind major modules like Panels and other projects that they help maintain. And so it is a driver of new business. Talk to Palantir, and they'll tell you that Larry Garfield, who is a major core contributor, is their best sales and marketing asset. It's kind of ironic that a major developer is actually the best sales and marketing tool that any agency or development shop can have. And most importantly to businesses is that you're going to have better margins, you're going to make more money. So if you can operate faster than the competition, you can operate cheaper than the competition. Even if you charge the same rates as the competition, you're going to be doing it in less time for less money, which means more money in your pocket. But typically, because you are the experts in the platform and you can do it better and faster, you can charge a premium, which only means that you're making that much more money. And so there is a direct impact on your bottom line by enabling your team to get more engaged in the community. It's going to drive business and it's going to help you make more money. So hopefully at this point, I know it's the end of the day and you guys are all excited about drinks, but I hope you're sitting on the edge of your seat right now and you're saying, man, I would love to know how I can get more involved in the Drupal community. So I want to wrap up and talk a little bit more about how you can apply this, how you can get more engaged, and leave you with some quick ideas. The good news is that there are ways and opportunities for everyone to contribute and every organization to contribute. This isn't just about code. And the even better news is that by coming to an event like you are today, you're already off to a great start. Participating, showing up at events is a simple form of contribution and engagement. It's a great place to get started. There are tons of events. I mentioned this earlier. There are meetups and user groups in every city. But I want to touch on here, if you live in a city where they don't have a meetup, I was just talking to a bunch of folks from Monterey, and they're saying, we have 25, 30 Drupal developers that I know of alone, but there's no Drupal meetup. Well, start one, right? It's an opportunity to become a leader by default in your community. So if you don't have a vibrant, growing Drupal community in your local region, start one. Even if it only starts with 2 or 3 of your friends hanging out and going for a beer, over time it'll grow and attract a lot of people, and now you are the leader of this community. Tremendous benefits for you. In addition to meetups, there are camps like we have today. Some of them, like New York City and the Bay Area Drupal Camp, draws, as I said, over 1,000 people. There's many camps throughout Latin America that are regionally available to you. If you're more of the suit and tie type, there are business summits and business days for individuals that want to talk more with sales and marketing folks and are a little bit less interested in the underlying technology. So there are events for everybody. There are global events like DrupalCons, including our first ever Latin America DrupalCon. DrupalCon Bogota was held earlier this year. How many people went to DrupalCon Bogota? Awesome. Okay, good number of people. DrupalCon is a spectacle. Thousands of Drupal developers. DrupalCon North America and DrupalCon Europe draw 3,000 to 4,000 plus developers. It is the who's who of the development community, the who's who of the agencies and service providers It is the place to go to learn about the latest and greatest information and an opportunity to meet these people. And a lot of these events are sprints. Sprints are a great opportunity for you to directly contribute to Drupal, to sit down next to some of the world-leading experts in the platform to learn how to contribute and make Drupal better. At DrupalCon, for example, we have code sprints where we have mentors. We have an entire day dedicated at the end of the conference every Friday where you can sign up and you can sit down and you could have never contributed to Drupal. You could not know anything about writing code, and they will pair you up with a mentor who will walk you through the process of installing the necessary software on your laptop, and they will literally leave you at the end of the day having made your first contribution to Drupal. So it's an amazing experience. I definitely suggest you guys all take advantage of it. There's really no barriers to getting involved. Everyone can contribute. Like I said, it's much more than code. Everyone here speaks at least 2 languages. Drupal is a multilingual platform that's used around the globe. We need translations. We need people to translate Drupal into other languages. So a great place that you can get started. QA testing, right? Simply by using Drupal, you're probably going to find a bug at some point. That's awesome. Please report that bug. Now we know about it, and someone can jump in and help fix it. Or, even better, you can fix it yourself and contribute it back to the community. If you're a Drupal expert in any area or you have some experience, you can help others in support forums and online. You might be a business user, right? It's ironic, but where Drupal needs the most help isn't always code. We need to get the word out about how awesome our platform is, its competitive advantages, its differentiating factors, its value proposition. We're about to launch Drupal 8 in 2 weeks on November 19th. We need tons of help getting the word out. And so if you know a lot about marketing, you can really help the community. We could use designers, UX testing, graphic designers. Drupal is hard to use. One of the most critical bits of feedback that we get from people, we've done a lot of the UX studies at Acquia with major universities to understand it. We need to make Drupal so much easier to use, lower the barrier to entry and the complexity to increase the adoption, right? If it's really hard to use, people aren't going to use it. And so this is a really critical area. Event coordination. It takes a tremendous amount of effort to put on an event like today. It is a labor of love. We need volunteers. We need support. We need people to sponsor conferences and events like today to help us make this successful. So even if you don't want to be the lead organizer, you can help us by running an event. You can contribute to documentation. You can triage bugs. You can help us manage the project. You can run around telling people how great Drupal is. Of course, code is gold. It's really important that we get, you know, that pace of innovation climbing. And if you can't do any of these things, you can still donate money. Right? A lot of us work for businesses that are very successful and make a lot of money because of Drupal. This is an opportunity for you to give back and to support the community that you make a lot of money off of. And we had the Drupal 8 Accelerate Fund. Early this year, we raised $250,000 from organizations that rely on Drupal. We were able to meaningfully release Drupal faster. We were able to address release blockers to get Drupal 8 out the door faster. We were able to address critical things that everybody cares about: performance and scalability, security, funding code sprints, more of the sprints like I talked about, so the key contributors can get back together. We modernized our tool set. We have a new automated quality assurance and testing system, a QA test bot the entire community, you know, relies on. And so it's not too late. It's never too late to financially support Drupal, to support your local community. We can make camps like this bigger, better. We can market them to more people. We can get more people engaged and involved. So wherever you choose to apply your dollars, you will not only help the platform, but as I said, you'll build a brand, a technology brand, and you'll be able to attract more talent. Another thing I want to leave you with is make sure that you take credit for your contributions. There is a new commit structure. You're committing documentation to the project. You're committing code to the project. You have a way now of saying, I'm Mike Myers. I worked for Acquia, and we built this on behalf of Pac-12 Sports Networks. And now everybody that was involved in the process gets credit for all the amazing things that they're doing. And why is that important? Well, we're moving to new user profiles and pages. This is a conceptual mock-up of what's in progress for Drupal.org, where, you know, if you're an end user of Drupal like Pfizer, which makes a lot of open source contributions back to the community, we're going to highlight and promote that factor so that you are a really attractive place to come to work. We want to make it easy for people that are interested in working in organizations that support and contribute to open source projects to come and find those organizations. If you are a Drupal agency, your promotion, your ranking, your positioning is going to be affected by these numbers, right? When you go to the Drupal.org service providers page and it lists companies, the featured companies are going to be the top contributors based on these statistics and information. There'll be an alphabetical directory, just underneath that, but the companies that we're going to feature, we're going to highlight and promote are the ones that are contributing to Drupal. And as an individual, you're going to have a new profile page that showcases your talent and your engagement in the platform and how and where you're contributing so that you are a really attractive employee or participant in an organization or a project that people can find you. So if you want to make some contributions, check out Drupal.org/contribute. It walks you through some easy ways that you can get involved beyond what I talked about. There are hand-picked examples for newbies. Again, if you have no experience, there are some really easy things that anyone can come here and do and quickly contribute. You don't have to come to conferences and events. You can do this from the comfort of your own home. There's a tremendous amount of online resources. You can go to Drupal.org with a user account, and you can check out the forums. You can participate in other communities like Stack Overflow and Quora and Reddit. We have an amazing IRC system. There are groups for pretty much every topic, locale, around conferences, events. It's a great way to talk to people about very specific things. Mailing lists about all sorts of topics. Obviously, I would hope everyone here cares about security, wants to get security alerts, and know about when there are things that you need to patch and fix. So this is an important list to be part of. Drupal groups or meetup.com is a great place to check out and find your local events about the next conference and camp. Curious who here found out about this meetup from groups.drupal.org or meetup.com or no one? Wow. All right, all word of mouth? Damn. Okay. Get online, guys. There's a lot going on. Core mentoring, another great opportunity. If you've done some contributions to Drupal, some contributed modules, and you want to start hacking on core, we have office hours where the world-leading experts in Drupal will literally answer your questions, provide free advice, help you get up and running and started. So, tons of opportunities for non-coders as well. Please don't be intimidated. I know oftentimes you can meet some of these amazing contributors to Drupal, and you sit there and you think, oh my God, I don't know if I can do that. I don't have the experience, the knowledge, the information, the training, or maybe they're scary. I don't know. But there are many amazing people in this world. Sunita Williams was the first female commander of the International Space Station. Yo-Yo Ma is a world-famous celloist. Michael Phelps, one of the most decorated Olympic athletes of all time. They all had or have one thing in common, and that's at one point in time they did the thing that they are most famous for the first time, right? No one starts out as an expert. You all, put in a lot of hard work and effort. And while you might sit there thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not, Einstein when it comes to Drupal, I'm Einstein when it comes to PHP and technology, and I'm not sure that I have what it takes, it's simply not true. Everyone can do it. And my favorite example is Angie Byron, who I was talking about earlier. She's one of the most well-known people in the community. She started as a Google Summer of Code intern and volunteer. She had never contributed to Drupal. And so, today, through a lot of hard work and dedication and investment of her own time, Angie has been featured on the cover of Linux Journal. She has been named in magazines as one of the top 5 women in technology next to luminaries like Meg Whitman, the CEO of HP. And she is an amazing and wonderful individual. And all she did is jump in and get started. So, we need more Angie Byrons. We need more people. And there is a wonderful support structure to help you guys get up and running. So thank you. I think we have a few minutes for questions. You guys have any questions about Drupal 8 even, release cycles?
What about the agencies, the business agencies working with free software like Drupal? They make a contribution. What can we expect from these large companies working with Drupal?
Sure. So the question was for agencies that want to make a large contribution to Drupal, what can you expect? First I would say is that it's not just about making the contribution to Drupal. You need to market and promote the fact that you're making this contribution. So Chapter 3 is a great example. They fund Alex Pott to work full-time as one of the 4 core committers in the world. And they have done a lot to market and promote that fact. And it's not just, while the development community, I think, is all aware of Alex Pott, the business value for them comes from marketing and promoting his participation. The same thing for Palantir, right? They market and promote Larry Garfield all the time. They run webinars with him. He is probably one of the most well-known people at Palantir, if not the most well-known person. And by contributing and then marketing and promoting the fact that you are major contributors, it will lead to new business opportunities, organizations that come to you and say, I want to hire you for your expertise. You're going to be asked to participate in requests for proposals more frequently. You're going to be a more attractive place to work. Developers are going to come knocking on your door because they want to work alongside Alex Pott and Larry Garfield because they're amazing people, right? Who they're going to learn a lot from. So a lot of the benefits that I talked about are things that are going to, over time, apply to your company. It doesn't happen overnight. You don't just contribute to Drupal and all of a sudden become successful. You do need to market and promote and celebrate the fact and get out there. And it's an investment, right? It is. You need to allow your resources the time to do this. And if you don't, over time they're going to find other organizations that will, right? Again, you can download Drupal, you can use it for free, you can build proprietary software on top of it, you can never get back, and you can still run a successful company, but you will be much more successful if you do contribute, you do get engaged. Wow, everybody here wants to go out for beers. I'm standing between you and beers. This is not a good place to be. All right, awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for having me here today. I'll be around for drinks tonight as well as tomorrow. So if you guys are just being shy and you want to come up to me individually and ask me all your questions, I'd be happy to answer them. And please do say hello. I'd love to get a chance to meet you all and learn more about the exciting things that are going on here in Mexico City. So thank you. Thank you, Michael. Keep streaming? No. Stop. Stop this.
Un par de anuncios solamente.